Chapter 16, Greater Intimacy. After that first kiss on the beach in early August, there was a phone conversation. I don't remember the exact words, but I remember what wasn't said. We didn't discuss what we would do. Lynn asked, "When will you be here?" That was enough. I showed up with a smile and excitement I couldn't hide. We didn't stop at the door to kiss. She walked toward her bedroom. Whatever uncertainty she might have had about what I was comfortable with, there was no question that we would do it there, in her bedroom, where we could be close without interruption. We began to kiss. Then she directed me, suggesting a position she thought would be comfortable. Me on top, her on her back. I steadied myself, supporting my weight with my forearms. We adjusted together, finding what worked. Deep kissing, mouths opening, the unspoken desire from the beach finding its natural place. Her bedroom became where we could be most ourselves, kissing, caressing, exploring each other with a tenderness that felt both new and, strangely, inevitable. Over the weeks that followed, I learned what Lynn liked through her body's responses, the way she held me, her vocalizations, the pleasure I could hear and feel. I liked making her happy, making her feel good. It was mutual. She wanted to make me happy too. A pattern developed. I'd brace on my forearms, and after a while I'd start to ask, "Too heavy?" In the back of my mind were thoughts about her lung capacity, about cystic fibrosis, and whether my weight was making it harder for her to breathe. At first she'd answer, "No," but later, maybe the second or third time, as soon as I began with she pulled me closer, tighter, preventing the question from breaking the mood. Her answer was her body drawing me in. We explored each other above the waist. Loose-fitting shirts made it easy. My hands moving along the warm skin of her back, tracing the curve of her sides. She did the same to me, her fingers learning the shape of my ribs, my shoulders. We were discovering what touch felt like when you trusted the person touching you. Her body began to signal what she wanted, small shifts in position, the way she leaned into my touch, the sound of her breathing changing. I was interested more than interested. My hand moved toward her breast, first on her right side, where I could reach over the top of her bra through an opening in the fabric that worked. Her response told me she wanted this. Then I moved to her left side, trying to slide my hand under the bra. But the fabric was tight against her skin. I hesitated, worried I might hurt her. My hand cupped her breast but couldn't move easily. I paused. "Sorry," I said, bashful. "I don't want to." I was too shy to finish the sentence. Too uncertain about what my faith said was okay. Too nervous to vocalize what we both knew. This would work better without the bra. She knew. She sat up, reached behind herself under her shirt, and unhooked it. Then she slipped the bra off and set it aside, keeping her shirt on. "Let me make this easier," she said quietly. I imagine she was thinking, "You're Catholic. We've talked about this. I don't know what you're ready for, but clearly you're ready for this much. And it would be more comfortable if you didn't have to maneuver around the bra." It wasn't a demand, it was an invitation and consent. I slid my hand back under her shirt. This time there was only warmth, skin, the soft curve of her breast. My fingers traced slowly, learning. I didn't yet know how much this area might be an erogenous zone for her, but her response, the way she leaned closer, the sound she made, told me she wanted my touch there. She didn't pull away. She leaned closer, her arms wrapped around me, pulling me tight. Everything about it felt natural, right. The kiss had taught me something about momentum, how bodies can move together in fractions of a second, synchronized movements that happen before conscious thought. Our intimacy developed the same way, her body guiding mine, my tentative explorations met by her squeezing tighter, leaning closer. action speaking faster than words ever could, when her arms wrapped around me tight while we kissed. It wasn't restraint. It was confirmation. Yes, I want this. Keep going. Either of us could have stopped, could have pulled back, said no, changed our minds. The momentum wasn't unstoppable. It was made of constant, tiny confirmations, just like that first kiss. But in those moments, with our bodies speaking that language, there was no space for conscious calculation, no room for guilt or second guessing, just the rightness of being together. Consciously, everything felt right, natural, no regrets. But somewhere beneath awareness, shame took a different form. Not thoughts, but feelings and automatic actions I couldn't name. I knew from reading that arousal was simply physiology, the body preparing for what it thought might come next, even when the mind knew otherwise. Wetness wasn't climax. It was just response, automatic, unstoppable. But old training doesn't dissolve with understanding. When we paused and I noticed I was wet, I would slip away to her bathroom, quick cleanup, hiding evidence, the same reflex I'd learned as a boy. I never told Lynn. She wasn't Christian. Religion hadn't burdened her with shame around intimacy or arousal. I learned later, much later through research, that shame around sexuality is common for people raised with strict religious teachings. It persists even when beliefs change, even after marriage. The neurological pathways of shame can last for years. It wasn't immaturity, it was conditioning. Lynn had been spared that burden. She could express desire freely, follow what her body wanted without doctrine pressing down on her choices. So I carried my shame alone in silence. It was isolating, even in the middle of intimacy. The shame manifested as confusion more than guilt. My conscious mind knew this was right, but automatic responses, the hiding, the secrecy, operated below thought, beyond reason. This wasn't just about physical attraction or arousal. What I felt with Lynn went deeper. I couldn't imagine anyone more beautiful than Lynn, not just her face, though she was beautiful, the way she looked, the way she moved, her form, everything about her appearance was desirable to me. But it was more than that. Days felt lighter when I knew I'd see her. She was on my mind constantly, not obsessively, but like a melody you don't mind humming all day, and I was comfortable. Completely, all the time. There was never a moment of discomfort I had to overlook or push past. No awkward silences that felt wrong. No sense that something was off. Just ease, just rightness, peace, contentment, the kind that comes from knowing you don't need more, don't need to look elsewhere. She was enough. More than enough. She was the person I wanted. Love was developing, though I hadn't said the word yet. How long does it take? How long should it take? I didn't know, but I knew this. I didn't want to see anyone else. Couldn't imagine wanting to. We talked about our dreams, our work, what we hoped our lives might become. Those conversations mattered as much as the kisses, maybe more. They were building something I didn't have a name for yet, but felt in my bones. This was the person I wanted to be with. I'll tell you more about those conversations later, about how we supported each other's dreams, how Lynn shaped the person I was becoming. For now, what matters is this. Our relationship wasn't built on desire alone. It was built on connection, trust, and a growing certainty that we belonged together. Bob visited occasionally during those months, staying a week at a time. He'd arrive, nod at me, call for Lynn, then disappear into another room. He didn't make conversation. I tried at first, the words sliding off him like rain off a waxed coat. Should I try harder with him? I asked Lynn once. No, she said. If he doesn't talk, you don't have to. That was Lynn. Firm boundaries, no apologies. No one was going to manage her or decide her value. I admired it. I wanted it for myself. Lynn's directness, her clear permission structure that I didn't need to engage with Bob, planted a seed I was learning, that I could set boundaries, that I didn't have to accept disrespect, even from family. Soon I'd need that same strength with my own mother. By November, the air had turned cold. One night we walked to the beach after dark, bundled in heavy coats. The surf was black glass with a white seam where it broke. We climbed the wooden lifeguard stand and stood facing the water, wind pulling at our clothes. I stepped behind her and wrapped my arms around her waist, my chin tucked into the wool at her collar. Her body relaxed into mine, hands resting over my hands, weight leaning back. Even through winter coats, layers of fabric creating every possible barrier, heat rose in me, quick, undeniable. I noticed that wetness, hidden, the normal response of arousal and uncontrollable, my body responding to simple closeness, to her presence. I thought about my mother, how I'd recoiled from her touch earlier that year, an instinctive pulling away, unconscious, before thought could intervene. That's what abuse does. It trains the body to flinch. With Lynn, it was different. We welcomed touch. It steadied us both. She expected I could surprise her with this kind of affection, and she welcomed it. Some vague sense of shame stirred about the wetness, but another thought surfaced too. Arousal couldn't possibly be avoided. We had winter coats on. If it happened through all those layers just from standing close, then it couldn't be controlled. And if it couldn't be controlled, it couldn't be wrong. As December arrived, something in me steadied. I found work in human services, supporting adults with developmental disabilities. It felt like the first right fit in a long time, as if my life had stopped scraping and started to catch Lynn, and I had been together 5 months. To anyone watching, we'd been a couple from the start, exclusive, committed, boyfriend and girlfriend. We held hands everywhere, spent every day together. No one questioned it. One afternoon near Christmas, Lynn and I were at my place, the house Donna owned, where she'd rented me a room first, then added Terry as a second roommate. We were getting ready to head out to see a neighborhood known for elaborate Christmas decorations. Donna said, grinning. She grabbed a camera. Let's get some pictures before you go. I pulled Lynn onto my lap. She put her arm around me, comfortable and natural. Donna suggested a different pose. Lynn adjusted, leaning in. We both had ideas, moving easily together. The shutter clicked several times. You two are so good together, Terry said, smiling. It was a small thing, photographs, a comment, but it mattered. For so much of my life, I'd been invisible, erased. My parents had built a pool, taken me to Disney World, checked all the external boxes, but never once asked if I was happy, never saw me. They showed interest in my brother John's life, noticed his relationships, celebrated his milestones, but not mine. Donna and Terry saw me. They were happy for us, not because it served them, but because they cared. Lynn squeezed my hand as we headed out. I didn't say anything, but I felt it, a quiet shift. The difference between being tolerated and being welcomed, between performing and being seen. I was learning slowly what it felt like to be visible. It seemed strange, in retrospect, that we had not named the nature of our relationship. Anyone would have known there was something special happening, that we were not just friends, as we'd left things after that first date. What we had shown in the way we looked at each other, the way we moved through our days together, the ease between us people could see it. But Lynn and I knew there was something we still needed to clarify, something we needed to name. That conversation was coming.